Hello folks, Bob here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's episode of NL Now. Gary will be joining us a little bit later on in the show, but for now you're stuck with me. Today on the show we have a couple of wonderful special guests. On the musical guest sound stage we have the wonderful Adam Baxter, and in the interview chair we're chatting with Pam Pardy, formerly of the Newfoundland Herald. Also on this morning's show, NL Now's own Beverly is going to put her spin on a Joan Morrissey classic. So definitely stay tuned, stick around for all of that, and it's all coming up right after this, our NL Now opening theme song. Roll the credits.
You ready, Bob? We're going to a summer sunset, non-stop dancing for a week or two, lost by the river, by the big blue ocean. No more fast life for me and you for a week or two. And I can't wait to do some dancing with you, and you can't wait to do some dancing with me. I wish all days could be, I wish all days could be, I wish all days could be with you on this beach. Any warmer and we'll take over the ocean. We'll take the waves and we'll make them dance up high. Any warmer and we'll take over the ocean. We'll take the waves and we'll make them dance up high. 'Cause I can't wait to do some dancing with you, and you can't wait to do some dancing with me. I wish all days could be, I wish all days could be, I wish all days could be with you on this beach.
Straight off the farm 10 years ago and set to see the sights, I came here to the city to see all those pretty lights. The buildings and the people were exciting to my mind. I've seen it all and had a ball, but now at last I find I'm going back to the good life that I left long ago, heading eastbound out of this big town that they all call Toronto. I'm heading out on that eastbound train that's leaving here right now. I'm heading back to my daddy's farm, 'cause he's got fields to plow. Walk and think and talk and just be fancy long ago, heading eastbound out of this big town that they all call Toronto. I'm heading out on that eastbound train that's leaving here right now. I'm heading back to my daddy's farm, 'cause he's got fields to plow. I'm heading back to my daddy's farm, 'cause he's got fields to plow.
That was great, Beverly. Thanks for that. And now, folks, our next segment on this morning's show, which is coming up just after the break, we'd like to chat a little bit about that for a moment, just to explain it a little. So some of our viewers here at NL Now may know that we shoot some of our guest appearances a few weeks in advance. Now, this morning's interview guest was set to be Pam Pardy, the managing editor of the Newfoundland Herald. Now, since our interview with Pam was filmed earlier in the summer, we've since learned that the Newfoundland Herald has ended its print run. What started as the Sunday Herald in 1946, the magazine created by Jeff Sterling became one of the most widely known and appreciated publications in our province's history. Now, we will be airing this interview as planned, but please keep in mind that some of the interview questions and answers may be outdated due to the fact that the Herald is no longer being printed each week. So we will continue to air this interview in an effort to celebrate and commemorate the Herald's spectacular run. We'd also like to take this moment to thank Pam, Dylan, and the rest of the team at the Herald for all of their support towards NL Now and our time here on NL Now. So that's coming up right after this very short break, our NL Now tribute to the Newfoundland Herald with the interview with the managing editor of the Herald, Pam Pardy. Stay tuned. Pam, it is so lovely to have you here with us today, and I just want to start off by saying thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure, and you're looking quite dapper today.
Well, thank you very much. This is my new suit just for this season.
It looks fabulous.
Well, thank you. So why don't you start off by giving the folks at home a little introduction on yourself and what it is that you do in your position at the Newfoundland Herald.
Well, I have the best job, I think. My name is Pam Pardy, and I'm the managing editor of the Newfoundland Herald. And I get to deal with incredible guests, somewhat like yourself, who become our cover models, I guess, on the Newfoundland Herald. And we get to have some great conversations about what they're doing and what they're contributing to our culture and our province.
Well, that's great. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe now how you got started out working at the Herald?
Well, my passion for journalism was born when I was in grade 7. I got to interview Joey Smallwood, who was our very first premier.
Yes.
And I just followed that passion. I did journalism in school and returned to the province after that, and I've been doing it ever since.
Great. So now just last year, the Newfoundland Herald celebrated quite a big milestone with 75 years in operation, correct?
Absolutely. 75 years of providing a little something for everyone. That's what we say.
So what do you think it is about the Herald that keeps people interested in buying it each and every week?
I think, again, it's having a little something for everyone.
Right.
It's arts, it's entertainment, it's politics, and we get the pleasure of telling the behind-the-scenes stories. For instance, a lot of people see Eddie Shear, who I know is a favorite guest of yours. They get to see him on NTV News all the time.
Yes.
But what happens behind the scenes? Eddie is not sharing any information about his family when he's giving the weather, because everyone wants to know what it's going to be like when they're going on a picnic, right? But what we do is tell the behind-the-scenes stories. We followed his marriage, his fatherhood, and how he's adapted to this place that he now calls home.
Yeah. So what might you say is one of the most challenging parts of your job?
Well, there's a deadline, of course, and that can be a challenge because you have to, it's photos and interviews and stories, and keeping current when you're a weekly magazine sometimes has its challenges. And, you know, we can have something happen on a Thursday, and that's our press day. And then, of course, there's sometimes a little bit of a scramble. But the team always makes it work. And like your show, you have a great team behind you, and everything comes out and works out perfectly.
Now, you just mentioned it a little bit there about the deadlines and such, but could you maybe go through the process a little more of sort of the timeline of how the Herald starts and gets to print? Well,
we try to plan about 3 months out. And we look out and we say, for instance, regatta's a big thing for us. So the regatta is coming up. We take a look when the royals are coming to visit. So we'll try to plan something for that. Mother's Day, Father's Day, anniversaries. There's an anniversary of the fishery this year, our own 75th anniversary, and then we'll put the stories around those covers, and we design the cover. That we have a great art director, Shannon Cleary, and we have another fabulous interviewer, Dylan Collins, who works with us, and we just all work together to pull each and every edition. And of course, Scott Sterling is our cover editor, and Scott helps with all the planning of who goes on the cover. And there's a few surprises coming up this year.
Well, that sounds very exciting, and like you said, it's always great to have such a good team behind you.
For sure.
Now, can you think of any specific moments that might stand out as a favorite point or a highlight in your career?
There's been a few, and I started out talking about Joey Smallwood. So politics has been very special and near and dear to my heart. It's been a passion of mine. And I have the privilege and the pleasure of being able to say that I've interviewed every premier this province has had except one. And that was our second premier, and Mr. Moore. He was the only one that I didn't get an opportunity to interview.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
So now, why do you think it's so important for the Herald to get all the local support that it does from the readers?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. We're the province's entertainment magazine. We're distributed not only all across Newfoundland, but all across Canada, because so many Newfoundlanders, as you know, have left the province, and they love to have a little taste of home. And of course, having that support, the people who want to pick it up and read about the folks at home who are being successful, who are doing great things, and great positive things, that's important too.
Yes, and of course that's similar to what we do here with our show, with people across the country watching it. You get that little taste of home, like you mentioned there.
Exactly.
Now we're going to do a little thing now, Pam, that I like to do with all of my guests. We're going to play a little game called Get to Know Me. So I'll ask you 5 questions, and you'll come back with the first thing that pops into your head.
Ooh, fun.
Your favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite food?
Lobster.
Your favorite song to sing out loud when you're alone in the car?
The cover of the Newfoundland Herald.
Yes, that's a great one, by Corey and Trina, who are right up there behind us. And your favorite thing about your job?
The people that I get to talk to.
And finally, your favorite thing to do in your spare time?
I love being outside, walking my dogs, hanging out with my family, my friends, and everyone that I love.
Well, Pam, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you taking the time to drop by for a chat. But before you go, I'd love to take a minute just to show our viewers at home this little frame here that's next to you there. Now, maybe if you could hold that up. So, folks, here are the 4 Newfoundland Heralds, which I have had the great pleasure of appearing on the cover of, and well, as the saying goes, of course, you know you've made it big when you make the cover of the Herald. So thank you, Pam, for you and the team at the Herald for all you've done for helping promote us here at NL Now as well.
It's an honor, and those interviews have been incredible. We had some lots of fun times. Yes. A few selfies, right?
Yes, of course. Well, once again, Pam, thank you so much for coming in today, and yes, folks at home, stay right there. We'll be right back with more NL Now after this quick break. Welcome back to NL Now. I'm here with today's musical guest, Adam Baxter. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Gary. You look great, man.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, great haircut.
So for the folks at home who may not know you, why don't you just give us a little bit about, where you're from and what it is that you do?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter based out of Campbellton. It's just outside of Lewisport. I'm also a high school band director, but I love traveling the island and playing as many gigs as I can and singing about my feelings is what I say. So it's kind of my cool thing.
Yes. Now, I saw online you did a very interesting project this past February. You did why don't you just tell our viewers about it?
Well, in February, Gary, what I did is I wrote, recorded, and released a song a day in February. And when it was done, I had an album of 28 brand new songs. All's really stripped down, but it's really honest. And I was really, really proud that I got to accomplish such a crazy task.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, one of the questions we like to ask a lot of our musical guests on the show is that if you could pick any other musician to collaborate with on a song, who would you pick and why?
Wow. There's so many. And I'm going to pick someone from Newfoundland. I think someone who would complement my style, but I'd also learn a lot from would probably be Tim Baker. I really love his style, and I listen to his tunes all the time.
Oh, yeah,
Are you a big fan?
Great. Yes, we've had Tim on the show a couple of times. Tim is
cool.
Great. Yes.
Awesome, man.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the tune you're going to close out the show with?
Well, this kind of goes into the first question you asked. You asked where I'm from, and I don't hate to divulge this. I'm originally from Nova Scotia.
Okay.
I moved to Newfoundland in 2004, and I've immersed myself in the culture enough that I think it's time that I be accepted as a true Newfoundlander. So this is a kind of an open letter to the government asking them to, hey, maybe write me a letter and say I'm one of your own. And this song is called Most of My Life.
All right. Well, once again, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thanks for having me. And I hope you know the words, you can sing along. But if you don't, it's okay. I hope you have a laugh. Thanks, man. I rest my head in comfort, and I sleep away the day. This island life's a dream, oh yes, now I'm here to stay. See, I try to speak the language, and I love the food and air, but to some I have a problem that I just can't repair. See, no, my birth wasn't down the road. In fact, it's across the street. I came here once and I won't look back. Never's worse than late. So if you got two open arms, please let me lay inside. 'Cause I've been loving here for most of my life. I've made it through the winters and the summers fill my heart. I'm standing on my sea legs on the water where the cold wind starts. Now can you really blame me? This is heaven on earth. But the trees and the water and the people are so great. Yes, I even found the perfect wife. We got this house and a piece of land settled on the bay. An island sits just across the shore, and I'll make it there someday. So what I'm really asking is, can I be one of you? I'll be asking till it's the last thing I do. I march myself up and down the coast, through the central and the south. But when I'm asked what town are you from, I opt to shut my mouth. It's not that I'm ashamed to say the town that holds that house. This is home more than anywhere else. So no, my birth wasn't down the road. In fact, it's across the street. I came here once and I won't look back. Never's worse than late. So what I'm really asking is, can I be one of you? I'll be asking till it's the last thing I do. 'Cause I've been loving here for most of my life. 'Cause I've been living here for most of my life. life.
Hey folks, Gary Weaselton here, and I'd like to thank you all so much for tuning in to this morning's episode of NL Now here on NTV. And I'd like to thank our extra special guests from this morning, Pam Pardy, Adam Baxter, and our very own Beverly. Now, next week on NL Now, we have another very special edition of the show for you. It's not a regular episode of NL Now, as I am taking you right here to the backyard of Gary Weaselton, downtown St. John's, for Gary's Garden Party. And I'll talk a little bit more about what's included in that show as the week goes on social media, so stay tuned to the NL Now Productions Facebook page for all of those details. But for now, here's a little sneak peek at next week's show titled Gary's Garden Party. I hope to see you there.